My racket hits the ball hard this time. Bam! My opponent looks a bit shocked. I know what she might be thinking. That's a bit too harsh. Well, I can't blame her for thinking that. I did take it pretty easy on my first couple serves. Now she takes her time positioning the ball and holding it in one position before attempting to hit it again. She's really trying for it this time. Her efforts are pale in comparison to how quickly I can run and hit the ball towards her. She catches the ball with her racket just in time, but barely. Okay, she has a fighting chance of keeping up with me. Faces of the other team members sit at the bleachers looking at us go at it. This was supposed to be a friendly match between two members during our practice session. That didn't mean I wasn't going to treat it like a match, just as I did at any tennis performance. For some reason, the others seemed shocked that I would. Perhaps that's why I've already got college recruits lined up to come and watch me at my next game. As much as I knew I could make friends because of my success, I was also well aware that this would make me a few enemies too. We end the match and I'm quick to go and collect my things. Another couple of girls step onto the court, ready to begin their match now. This is a bit awkward. I've only been here for 1 week, and so far the main person I've interacted with on the team has been the coach. Another good match, Miss Chen. Coach Russell congratulates me. He claps while approaching me, forgetting to acknowledge that my opponent was also a player from his team too. Thanks, I say shyly. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate his praises, but it's definitely been singling me out from the other girls. It's awesome slaying on the court, but I do not intend on having another Friday night at home with nothing to do. On the bleachers, I purposely sit, leaving some space between me and some of the other girls. I busy myself by paying close attention to the new match that's going on in front of me. To be honest, the match going on was very lackluster. It's obvious that the girls playing at this moment had only made the team because there was a couple of extra spots left. The other girls sitting so close to me began speaking lowly. They must have believed I was so enthralled in the game that I wouldn't pay attention to what they were saying. You know, she's not that good, says the team captain. Are you saying that because you really believe that, or because you've been having a hard time finding a scholarship? A girl from behind her answers. Then the other girls sitting beside the team captain begin to giggle. Well, at least that was cool. There may be haters on this team, but at least I still had the potential to make friends. Back home, I had tons of friends that were into the same things as me, supportive, and were cool with the fact that I was far better than them at tennis. After all, I was team captain. There was never a dull moment when you were the most popular girl in the school. I sure hope I won't have to experience a long dry spell of dull moments for long, now that I've moved back to the States. The match I'm watching ends, and we all head to the locker room. As usual, every time I pass the girls, they always stare but say nothing at all. I don't know if I'm probably the butt of everyone's jokes, but it's pretty annoying. I have half a mind to drop my things, step to someone's face, and ask, "What do you want?" Lucky for me, I only have half the mind to do that. But after we finished up from practice, the rest of the school day was beginning to take a different turn. My teammates were beginning to get bolder in mentioning my name in their conversations, even when I walked past them on the way to my locker. Coincidentally enough, my locker was right by a couple of my teammates. I still don't pay them any mind and continue to retrieve the books I need for the next period. As I turn, I see a few guys walking past me with a smirk on their face. Now, I was used to being checked out by guys, but it really was disturbing that no one had said anything to me. Was there something going on that I really didn't know about? The teammates next to me had started talking about something else. Are you sure you want to go? I'm not sure how many people from our school will also be there. The girl that had defended me at practice says, I'll go if at least a few of us are there. I don't want to be the only one there by myself, the other one adds. I'll add myself to the list if that makes you feel better, I chime in. My locker is shut and I stare straight at them. They look at me a bit startled by my bluntness. Yeah, you can come, the other girl answers. I give a bright smile. They definitely have something on their minds to ask. So you're actually talking to us? Not understanding the question, I ask. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I? The girl I remember speaking on my behalf puts out her hand. Hi, I'm Morgan. Once I shake her hand, both of them become much more relaxed. Don't take this the wrong way, but a bunch of us on the team just sort of thought you were just stuck up. I don't get it. Why would they think that? I look at them in confusion. I mean, sure, I've been called that in the past, but that was back home, where I was kind of bitchy every now and then. You slay at everything and you don't really care to come up to anyone, Morgan explains. That's only because I was shy. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm sort of the new girl. Both girls nod their heads in agreement. Fine. I guess you just had this air of coolness, Morgan chuckles. As she finishes what she's saying, her and the other girl probably realize how funny they must sound. Now, as for our team captain, Laura, the other girl begins to say, she ignores you because you're better than her on the court. Yeah, I kind of figured that, I add on quickly. They join in on my chuckle. I'm heading down this way for my next period. Which way are you going? Morgan asks. I'm actually heading down the same way, I say, pointing in the direction she was referring to. Cool, they both answer. I stand in between them and we begin to walk the halls. It's funny. I now begin to notice things differently. I get more looks from guys and other students as we pass them. This time, I no longer feel uncomfortable from their stares. Maybe I need to be the one making the first move if I want my new social life to improve. And you know what? I do just that. Other people on the tennis team, or those who know one another, join into our group of three. I guess since they've seen me socializing with others, that stuck up rumor can be put to bed. Pretty soon, I'm right in the center of a large entourage. From the sides of me, I hear a series of questions begin to come my way. So, are you really from Australia? Someone asks. Yep, I'm from Hobart, Australia, I answer while looking ahead. So, how come you don't have an accent? The same person asks. I was here in the States for the first 9 years of my life. Then I lived in China for several years. After that, I lived in Australia. I'm an army brat. I've never felt more at home than here. Whoa, you've been to all those places, the person then asks, again wild eyed. But your parents had to like living in China most, though, right? The next question spewed at me was a common misconception. Yes, my parents are Chinese American. They were both born and raised here, so I'm second generation. They actually had only visited there in the past, so adjusting was very difficult for them at times. I would say that they did every I would say that they did enjoy living in China the most, but there were definitely some drawbacks. More whispers continued to surround me as I reached the class I was heading to. There was no way I could still continue to listen to all of them at once, so I stopped answering their questions and took my seat. The teacher began writing on the whiteboard of whatever the lesson was for the day. Whoa, she's pretty much the golden girl, I hear someone say from behind me. Or probably not. She could just be another pretty face, I hear an entirely different voice from behind me say. Okay, can anyone tell me when the Berlin Wall came down? The teacher looks around the classroom for a hand after asking. I'm quick to raise my hand. This topic was already discussed in the reading assigned for next week. The Berlin Wall came down in 1989. It was constructed in 1961 as a barrier to divide Berlin. Thank you very much, Miss Chen. It's good to know someone pays attention in the history class. All of the other students who had their heads bowed or were simply looking the other way turned to me. Then little whispers began again. It was obvious who they were about. Looks like she's much more than a pretty face, a familiar voice now says from behind me. Quiet down, everyone, the teacher shouts, and the whole class hushes. I must say that the rest of the class was not much interesting, being that I had already read ahead. This was a thing I made a habit of doing even at my old school. You never know when you'd have to come home from a match or long practice and feel just way too exhausted to do homework. Lucky for me, this was the last period of the day. I'm so glad I can now go home knowing that I've made huge progress at school today. Pulling up to my driveway, Sammy comes running out to meet me. He never fails with his loud barks and excitement. I hop out just in time to greet him as well. Hey, buddy, how have you been? He responds with constant licks to my face. I know, I've missed you too. I love him. I must have left all of my friends back home in Australia, but he's the only friend I can truly count on to always be there. She's here, my little sister yells after seeing me in the driveway. Hey, Lily, I thought we had a deal, I say, gritting my teeth. She puts her hand to her chin, imitating someone in deep thought. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. My mom appears in the front door. You little brat, I grumble. Mother, a bit confused, asks, What are you mumbling? Lily, loving the predicament she put me in, smiles and runs back in the house. Nothing, Mom, just happy to see you is all. I try to force a smile. Oh, really? Well, it sure doesn't sound like it. Since you're here, you can come inside and help unpack. Just what I had been trying to escape. Hey, Lily, do me a solid and don't tell Mom when I get home tonight, and I'll give you a 20. She purposely chose to ignore that message I sent to her early today. But don't worry, I'll totally find a way to get her back for that. Sure, Mom, just Whoa, it's like having a brain freeze. I'm pretty sure I've already used all of the excuses that come to mind. There's no getting out of it this time, Sarah. I know how lazy you are with your chores, but this is not a chore, it's an obligation. Everyone may not be completely unpacked, but your room is the only one that looks like a junkyard. Man, she's not budging, is she? Well, am I acting so surprised? She let me slide on my forgetfulness or ability to disappear when it came to completing household chores. But whenever it came to moving to a new house, I had to be just as much a part of the process as everyone else, no matter how caught up I was with my tennis. I tilt my head backwards in extreme annoyance and belt out of my throat. I know, Mom, and I'll stop being so lazy. Even though I'd spent forever running from helping to unpack my belongings as well as things for the other areas of the house, finally getting started doesn't make it so daunting. Hey, Mom, which cupboard do you want these glasses in? I yell downstairs. I want them. Wait, why are they in your room? Her feet begin to move quickly to come up and investigate. I don't know, I guess they were accidentally packed in with some of my other stuff. Playfully waving the glass around as she reaches my room. Give those to me. She stops and looks around my bedroom. Sarah, barely anything is out of the boxes. How have you been able to get ready for school every morning? Oh, I laugh. Well, of course, I unpacked and organized my favorite clothes first. But you don't know how to do the same with the rest of the house, huh? She smirks a little and shakes her head. Well, you've caught me, so I guess I'm going to be sticking around for that. We share another laugh when the landline rings. Hey, you guys, Dad's on the phone. Lily comes rushing upstairs with the phone. Wait, let me put it on speaker. Hello, honey, how are you? My mom chimes in first. Hey, Dad, when will you be here and when will you be leaving? I say in a hurry. Not sure on how long this call might last, but I really do need to get to the point. Come on, sweetheart. I'll be there just in time for your tournament. I'll probably be leaving soon after that. So, you were paying attention the last time you were on leave, I say gleefully. Wait, so that means you won't be here for my school concert then? I told you that last time you were here too, Lily asks in great sorrow. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I can only come back for one of the dates. This is after all your sister's senior year. I really want to meet the college scouts, Dad confirms. No, it's not just this time. You always choose her side, Lily whines and ends with a pout. I hate to admit it, but she was right. I always did seem to get favored for things. I was the firstborn, the star athlete, and Little Miss Popular. Out of all the times my little sister annoyed me, I really didn't want to rub this in her face. She was upset, but she knew she'd be expected to get over it. Dad was a big tennis fan and was over the moon about my achievements in it. She knew there was no point in staying angry. Just as I thought in that moment, standing there, my sister did get over it. My dad did come home on leave just in time for my scheduled match. As I came to in the hospital bed, I could not recognize where I was and why I was there. The dream I had was of one of the days I remembered having not so long ago, but that seemed more real than what I was waking up to right now. The wires attached to my arms kept me in place. I felt very sore. It felt like I had been lying in this same position for the longest time. In an effort to adjust, I begin to move my shoulders. There's a small cramp on my hands because they have been still for so long. Those adjustments make me feel a little better. Perhaps I can sit up and figure out what's going on from here. I start to get up by using my elbows. Something freaks me out and I flop back down on the bed. Yes, I was making my way up, but I noticed a lack of something. As an athlete, you are trained to listen to your body, especially the main muscles needed to perform. For some strange reason, I had yet to feel any muscle contractions from my lower half. At this moment, I would feel grateful to feel a cramp further down on my body. While lying on my back, I turn my head to the side and see my parents standing opposite of a doctor. Father's intense. Mother stands trying to hold herself together. She does a pretty good job of it too. If it weren't for the tissues in her hand and puffy eyes, I wouldn't have known a thing. Something really bad must have happened to me. The door is cracked open and the doctor's voice begins in a sullen sound. I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Chen. Oh no. I brace myself to hear the horrible news. My head turns forward once more and I close my eyes. She had grave injuries to her lower back because of the incident. For right now, she will have to be in a wheelchair. We will not stop running tests and trying different procedures, but she may be in this state for her whole life. We won't lose hope. Sarah's a champion. She will get through this, Mother says with confidence. I should have been here. It was high time to take a long leave from the army. Dad speaks while holding back his tears. No, don't think like that. It's fine. We'll be fine. Sarah will be fine, Mom says, trying to console him. But it won't be fine. All I can do now is close my eyes really tight and hope to escape from this nightmare. This has to be a dream, right?
When I was having the time of my life, just felt I wasn't there. I try to hold back the ego inside, but I know it isn't fair. You didn't know I was watching. I didn't mean to sneak around, but now I'm glad that it hit me, 'cause I can't believe what I found. You try to hold me back and control me. Everything's a threat that will spoil me. You're self-fulfilling prophecy. I can't live like that. What do you want? I leave it all to you. What do you want? It's time to face the truth. What do you want? Don't force me to choose. I will choose my life. I will choose my life. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I will choose my life. What do you want? What do you want? What do you
Okay, everyone. You just basically heard chapter 4 from Dear Penpal by me, Adelaide Carew. And the fourth chapter is called Sara, the Golden Girl. So, as you can see, this story will have sides from both main characters. So basically, the introduction of Sarah Chen in a way mirrors, Michael Tommy Scott's introduction. It's basically their world in separate schools. So I really did need to put an emphasis on that when we said, well, she's the golden girl. And, you know, and I guess seeing her role in this will show you, I guess, how she's going to go through different transitions and how also it would still relate to how Michael, if he were in similar situations or circumstances, would also probably relate to it if he was going through, similar transitions as well. Um, so her family life, her dynamic, just getting into the song that I chose for this chapter, which is What Do You Want by Mark Torch featuring Anya Gold. And that, information will also be in the description box. So please, be sure to look it at. So I chose a song because, it basically had a really girl power sort of vibe. You can see when she first joins the school, it's, with a team of girls. And, by the middle of her chapter, she basically already has her own squad, and she's being followed around like a celebrity, basically. Um, but the song also represents, towards the end, a choice that she has to make. Now she has a completely different life from before. She has to make a choice of what does she want? What does she see her life as being? Um, she's not going to be an idle character that just sits by and, lets a whole lot of things happen to her. She will be making decisions as she goes through her journey. Okay, you guys. So, if you're interested in purchasing the book, it is now available on Amazon. And let's see, so you can also look in the description box for more information about me and how to reach me. And if you would like to follow along in the book by leaving questions um, on my Instagram, DM me questions on my Instagram, Indiehood, and I will be sure to answer them. By the time I upload the next chapter, at the end of the chapter, I will answer them. And that is all. Okay, I'll be seeing you guys again soon.